This is Dr. Manjunath from University of Mysore. This particular educational video is uh, is based on the research methodology and testing of hypothesis. This particular video is going to be published in the interest of meeting uh, the curriculum requirements as well as that of the research apathy of uh, the researchers as well as the students are pursuing their business studies. If you say the research, it's all about a kind of inquiry. And if you say re and search, this particular division of the word re and search speaks about search for something again and again. Search for something again and again. If you say the causal relationship between any two variables, maybe the kind of impact due to a kind of phenomena, or the kind of relationship between any two variables, maybe dependent, independent. Okay, all these things are going to be explained in a systematic manner with a kind of scientific inquisitiveness, scientific inquiry, systematic approach, a statistical methodology, so that the accuracies of estimations of results are ensured, are well put in place so that okay it can be generalized. Now let us try to understand, what exactly you mean by research. Okay, the basic definition part I'm going to address. If we say the research, the title itself speaks about okay having questions all around, looking for answers, okay having problems all around, okay meeting with crisis all around, okay expecting it for a kind of solution, expecting for a kind of no answer, the remedies, and all these things, maybe a remedy, maybe an answer, maybe a kind of outcome, maybe a kind of results, all are going to start with this kind of no inquiry, the question mark. At this point of time, okay, I would like to have my great tributes to one of my great mentor and teachers, Dr. Hitchen, the founder of National Education Society, that is the National Colleges. And I, being the former student of National College, okay, this is my great privilege to mention Dr. Dr. H. Narasimhaya, where okay, always used to say that okay, have a question mark on your forehead. Don't accept anything blindly. Okay, have a question mark. Okay, try to look for the possible solutions, and to have the solutions you need to start with a question mark. And there exactly lies the uh, the kind of apathy, the kind of requirements, the kind of prerequisites to be a researcher. To be a researcher, one should be filled with the kind of anxiety, the curiosity, inquisitiveness to question, and the eager for knowledge, the intellectual curiosity, and so on and so forth. And putting this particular question mark in the center of our study, I can say that okay, meaning of research is an endeavor to discover answers to intellectual and practical problems. Maybe the problems are intellectual in nature, much practical in nature, but there is a solution. Okay, there is no problem that is existing in the world without the solutions. Problems are there, okay, because there are the solutions. This is the research. This should be the attitude for any researcher. And taking this to the pivotal center of our interest of our discussion, I can say that research is a systematized effort to gain new knowledge, And this is as per Edmund and Mori. New knowledge just to have the solutions at the newer framework, at the improved framework, and the solutions at the reach of the mankind so that the crises are properly answered, so that the problems are appropriately put into the main frame of discussion and in the public domain so that that can be taken forward for further improvements and upgradations to the solutions, improvements of the solution, and the crisis will be there, problems will be there all the time. At the same time, there are the solutions simultaneously. The interest of a researcher is to find out these simultaneous answers for the simultaneous problems. Okay, it's a never ending process. Now, research is the systematic process of collecting and analyzing information or data. Now, if we say the research, it's all about the collection of data to gain any kind of new knowledge or to answer any such kind of intellectual or practical problems. First and foremost thing that is required is the particular relevant timely data. This particular data or the information is going to give proper inroads into in understanding the particular kind of phenomena, how exactly the phenomena is being structured. Okay, what are all its the kind of variables, its framework, its time boundedness. Okay, its kind of frequency, the rate at which it is happening, all these things are going to be addressed by collecting its information and the data. And this particular information data is collected in order to increase the understanding of the phenomena, to have a fair understanding, good amount of understanding of the phenomena. That's what I said, making the inroads into the phenomena and understanding it and attempting to answer various kind of interrelations and its interactions of the variables, both dependent and independent together. And this is what exactly the interest of our uh, of any researcher. Now, basically, research is all about having a kind of inquisitiveness. It's all about asking questions. Going with that of the mentor's version of research is just to have questions. Start with a question, and your journey should be focused towards getting its solutions, the outcomes, and the answers, so that the practicalities of the problem are very well addressed and applied to the welfare of the society, welfare of the mankind, and so that the civilization of the society is properly addressed and put in its regular track of understanding the human life, the problems and the sorrows behind the human life, and both material as immaterial kind of things. I'm going bit forward understanding the spiritual aspect of research too. Not only the materialistic interest, even it could be okay, understanding who exactly I am, where exactly my kind of origin started. This is going to be the ultimate question for any answer to be addressed. Okay, now, okay, not going into the maximum of its kind of deviations. I'll go for the understanding of what is called as objectives or purpose of research. Basically, the purpose of any research is to discover answers to the application of proper scientific procedures. So just question it, okay, get its relevant data, okay, analyze it, and have the proper understanding of the phenomena and try to develop your own solutions. Okay, the solutions may be the immediate kind of benefits or may not be, but there are scientific procedures involved in understanding the answers for your problems. But the thing is that it should be based on scientific inquiry, the scientific, I can say, analogy. There should proper kind of analogy between the variables and their interactions. That's what exactly the purpose of research is all about. Next, to gain the familiarity of a phenomena, and it could be helpful. It is going to helpful for to formulate the research. Exactly, the research problem can be formulated provided you have provided you gain more familiarity with the phenomena. Now, okay, I will say it's generally okay if the research is not well addressed, if the research is okay little addressed or yet to be addressed in its full-fledged kind of thing, it's going to be exploratory journey. Research is a kind of journey having exploratory interest. To explore, okay, is you're the traveler for the first time, or you are selecting the roads which are less traveled by, which are less addressed, which are yet to be understood by the rest of the world, and it is less exposed, less experienced, less addressed, less understood, less explained. And generally, okay, such kind of researches are called as exploratory research. And once you have this exploration, okay, that is addressed with the kind of research that is going to be helpful to formulate the research. Now, there is one more kind of approach, I can say, descriptive research. This is to portray the characteristics, the qualities, the attributes, and the salient features of a research, maybe a particular individual, maybe kind of behavior, situation, understanding of the group and its dynamics and its behavior. Generally, this particular descriptive kind of research is used to understand the consumer behavior, the market phenomena, the market analysis. Okay, it's the competitors and their behaviors. All this can be described with the kind of variables associated with. Okay, next is going to be diagnostic. Diagnostic is all about determine the frequency or the rate at which a particular phenomena or outcome is reported or occurred or going to occur, and its associated variables and its impact too. Generally, diagnostic research is well carried out by the medical professionals, the pharmaceutical, the the scientists, and even for working in the area of biological and the vital sciences, and even it could be in the areas of commerce and management, problems related to economics, problems related to the social side of an organization, understanding the problems and its diagnostic part, and okay, what is the best remedies that can be addressed. Okay, it could be the scope is too vast. Okay, unless and until a proper case is selected, this diagnostic research is a bit abstract to explain. Okay, generally, as I say, diagnostic is to get a solution. Okay, with that of the variables and its associations causing certain phenomena, maybe a disease, maybe a crisis, maybe a disaster, whatever it could be. Okay, for every kind of outcome, there are some kind of variables and its impact. Try to understand the impact and its association of the variables and develop the remedies. And this is going to be a diagnostic research to test a hypothesis of a causal relationship between independent and dependent variables. Okay, to study the relationship between any two of such variables may be dependent and may be independent. Generally, research and testing of hypothesis, there is a convergence. In order to have the generalizations of the research, one must try to have a fair understanding of what exactly you mean by a hypothesis. Generally, okay, we say hypothesis is an assumption. Okay, it's a reasonable guess. It's a tentative proposal. Okay, let me speak something about technicalities of hypothesis. Okay, maybe in my next slides. We say research and hypothesis, they are converging in nature, because in order to have the generalization of research, there should be the hypothesis. The hypothesis are should be in line with that of your objectives. The objectives should be in line with that of your research proposal. The research proposal should be in line with that of your the title of the research. All these are going to have the proper alignment. Okay, it should not be any kind of hanging of such things separately. Okay, they are interrelated. If you say hypothesis, the hypothesis are derived from that of the objectives. The objectives are derived from that of your research proposals and the problem statement, and the problem statement and the proposals are directly in relation with that of the title of the research, or what exactly the purpose, okay, the area, the scope. Now, if you say the characteristics of research, okay, generally, okay, there are unique features of research. Okay, I'm giving a general framework. I'm not, okay, specific to any of such of the area. If you say empirical research, it's all about your observations. It's all about your evidence based. Okay, what do you observe and what is being recorded, and what exactly that is being noticed from you, and how frequently, okay, these things are being observed. Maybe the rate of crime, maybe the rate at which the economy is going down or improving, how the stock markets are performing, okay, how exactly, okay, your educational institutions and their value additions are happening, okay, based on the students performance, and even that of your policy framework and its impact. Any kind of such policies can be studied based on its empirical evidences. Now, research demands accurate observations. The observations should be very much accurate. That should be very much fact based. Okay, you should have some kind of ethics. What is that exactly observed? You should report it exactly without any biases, without any prejudice, without any kind of compulsions. But either to report or not to report. You should have a free and free and fair mindedness while reporting your observations. This is what exactly I'm to say, that accurate observations, and accurately all these observations should be described. Now, next is about the research involves gathering new data from the primary sources. If you say accurate observations, it could be based on your primary sources of data, or maybe kind of secondary existing data. If you say primary data, it's all about your first hand experiences. Your first hand experiences are recorded, your first hand experiences are analyzed and reported. And if you say the secondary kind of things, the secondary data, it's all about published data based on magazines, based on newspapers, based on your social media, which are already there, and maybe based on the kind of tweets that are coming all around. Okay, with regard to maybe kind of problem, maybe kind of emerging a kind of new situation. Okay, even based on tweets and their the frequency at which the tweets are made. Okay, there's a possibility of understanding a kind of human behavior, consumer behavior, all these things can be done. Okay, just by looking at the tweets, okay, you can, there is a possibility. And now this, the present day social media is in its full performance, and it's giving its maximum, okay, to understand the various domains of human behavior, the various domains of the public interest, okay, and rest of the things. And even for a new purpose, okay, yeah, research can be related. Now, research activities are characterized by carefully designed procedures. There is systematic procedure to be addressed. Okay, carefully laid down guidelines are there, principles are there. Okay, though I can say very well developed procedures are to be followed, and this is your research which follows the systematic execution of your very well laid planned actions. And there is an action plan to go for your research, and this action plan should be carefully designed. And I'll give you the outline of how there should be an action plan on how it should be carried out. Okay, there is the kind of procedural formats to be taken care of. Now, research requires expertise. See, research and expertise goes hand in hand. It's about a kind of skill based inquiry. It's not a kind of layman's inquiry. There is a proper expertise uh, is required, and that's what exactly I mean to say, that the research aptitude, the research mindset that should be there, and this research aptitude and mindset, the roots are there, okay, in the interest to go for investigation, examination. The interest is with regard to examinations and the related questions with regard to the related literature, and understand, analyze how the literatures developed. Okay, is there any kind of outcome that of the literature? Is there any kind of gap between the existing researcher and the the proposed literature that are going to develop, and how exactly the gaps are going to be bridged, addressed, and there lies the problem statement to be fit in. Therefore, this is the analysis of literature, related literature, is also uh, the concern of the matter, okay, where exactly the expertise is very much required. Next, characteristics of research. If you say characteristics of research, okay, this is result oriented, and this is applying every possible test to validate the data that is collected. Every possible test. If you say that, it's all about here the statistical inferences to be taken care of, and using the statistical inferences, as you can draw the conclusions, maybe in favor of the objectives pre-decided, or may not be in favor. That is, your objectives may be accepted, our objectives may not be accepted. And this is what exactly we say, that testing of hypothesis, objectives and hypothesis are very much related. Your hypothesis or objectives may be true or may not be true, may be accepted or may not be accepted. Such generalizations are usually, we call it as result oriented or outcome based, and result and outcome are very much logical in nature. There are certain variables influencing these logical relationships. This is what exactly I mean to say, that statistical analysis plays a very major role in understanding the generalization of all such conclusions. That's what exactly we mean to say, that data and its inferences and the conclusions. Now, research involves the quest for answers for unsolved problems, partially addressed problems, and research always there to get answers for service unsolved or partially solved, little solved, or yet to be solved. Okay, all this kind of problems, it requires the research uh, mindset. Next, research requires courage, patience, and no excuses. See here, if you want to be a researcher, first you put your excuses into your dustbin, and then you start conducting a research. Okay, you cannot go on having excuses all the time, and because it requires courage and patience. Research teaches you to be patient. Research teaches you to be most calm. Research teaches you to be more balanced individual, and also it involves a lot of courage, and it research makes you altogether a different individual, because research and patience, they are the best qualities of a human being. That's what exactly I experienced, okay, during the course of my study. Okay, I have experienced these two qualities throughout the study. That is courage and patience, and never give up and no excuse. Never give up and no excuse. That should be the mantra for any researcher. That's what I feel. That's my opinion is all about, and probably that, and that should be true. Research is characterized by its unhurried activity. You cannot say that today I've started research and tomorrow I'm going to publish a dissertation. Tomorrow I'm going to publish a report. Not possible. It's a long time journey. Okay, up to 5 to 7 years of report sometimes. Okay, we go for wildlife research, pharmaceutical research, and even other research. even it may take decades to. Therefore, we say that it is unhurried activities. You cannot be hurried to complete. It should you should have it should you should allow the research to take its own course of action, its own course of time to get its result, and for that the patience is very much required. And ultimately, having this courage, patience, and no excuses, and um, having its own course of action as a kind of time based should be next is about the documentation. Research is carefully recorded, published, and reported. Documentation plays a very major role because you are going to allow your research to be in the public domain so that that may add value to the society, that may add value to the existing research of the work, and that's going to be our intellectual contribution. Okay, for that, documentation is very much required. That's what exactly Shodh Ganga is doing. We and many other websites are doing, and publications are all about, and or even any of such kind of presentations, whatever it may be. It's all about your research and publications. Next, if you say types of research, there are two major types. One is based on deductive reasoning, and another is based on inductive reasoning. If you say deductive reasoning, all deductive reasoning research starts with a theory and go for hypothesis and collect the particular data and then confirm the data, analyze the data, and then give the conclusion. I have taken an example: cow eats grass. That's what the theory says, that all cow eats grass. But if you look at the existing situation, okay, there is something else to be addressed. Okay, now if you say cow eats grass, applying general principles to specific case and then getting its conclusions. Okay. Now, if you say the types of research to be continued, inductive reasoning. Now, the same observation. If you say cow eats grass, but I do observe certain cows not eating grass. They eat something else. They eat even plastic. Okay, they eat garbage. And ultimately, what's the theory? Okay, what is the theory here you have started, and what is the conclusion that we are going to be developed? Okay, these are all the interest of the policy makers. Okay, that's what exactly I'm speaking about. The ban on plastic, okay, maybe carried out based on this deductive and risk and maybe inductive reasoning, any kind of research that can be applied. Now, I would say cow eats grass. I'm observing cows one by one, one by one. Ultimately, one fine day, okay, observe a group of no cows, maybe some number of cows eating not only grass, but something else, garbage and plastic. Now the theory is that cow not only eats grass, they eat plastic too. That is studying individual and drawing generalizations, observe one by one, and then develop the theory. This is observation starts first, and then you have to develop theory. And next here, in the case of deductive, you start with the theory and go with the conclusion. And this is about deductive and inductive reasoning, and a few more classifications there. It is qualitative research and quantitative research. Qualitative research is all about non-parametric variables. See, in statistics and the research methodology, okay, it is the most required thing that you should know the differences between qualitative variables and the quantitative variables. Qualitative variables are variables where, okay, you need to have its mean average. If you have mean and ST developed, that is becomes your quantitative variable. If mean and ST are not developed, that is going to be your qualitative variable. Qualitative variables, okay, they are also called as categorical variables. Any research that is going to focus on such qualitative variables is going to be your qualitative research, and we call them as non-parametric variables, or it's also called as non-parametric research or maybe qualitative research. In case of quantitative, okay, we mainly focused on mean and standard deviation, and the basics of statistics again say that the best measure of dispersion is ST, the best measure of central tendency is mean. Yeah, if your research is or the measurements of the variables are based on such kind of parametric variables, that is called as quantitative variables. Generally, there is no here qualitative or quantitative research. There's a kind of mix of these things, and that is called as mixed research. We use both categorical variables, nominal variables, as well as quantitative variables too. Therefore, this is generally a research need not be only qualitative or only quantitative. It should be a blend of these two, a mix of these two. That is called as mixed research, both parametric and non-parametric variables. Okay, when you say understanding the human behavior and understanding the society and its various kind of the kind of the social side of an organization and the consumers and the society and all rest of the things, the social sciences specifically where human behavior is largely involved. Okay, we need to take the categorical variables addressing the demographic side of the population or demographic side of the sample. And this demographic side, if you say that, that is going to be bit non-parametric in nature, and any kind of measurement of any phenomena, maybe the income, their buying behaviors, or maybe their kind of emotional quotients, okay, IQ levels, and their the performance anomalies, whatever it may be. All these things are going to have both of the variables to be taken into account, both parametric and non-parametric. Now, if you say types of research to be continued, okay, here I have something more interesting to quote with to start with. Now, descriptive research. This is the most fundamental kind of thing. Descriptive is a simple kind of thing. I'm going to describe either qualitative or quantitative variables of phenomenon. Just describe. No inferences are drawn. Hypothesis is not essential in the case of descriptive. I just describe in percentage. I just describe, okay, by using a graph, by using a chart, by using some diagrams, and this is the description of certain variables. The performance rating percentage, the performance of students in a classroom. Okay, the number of pass and fail percentage, I just describe them. I'm not going to conclude or I'm not going to have any kind of inferences out of this. Just describe it. That's the reason why I said, okay, in the case of descriptive research, okay, no generalizations are prescribed, but it's not mandatory. Even if you can convert that into the hypothesis too, and you can test it, provided the generalizations are required. Now, basic research, if say basic research is all about fundamental research aims at understanding the laws governing nature and its diversity. So nature is full of its diversity. That's the reason why, okay, nature looks quite beautiful, and nature, its beauty lies in its aspects of diversity. Therefore, okay, any laws that are governing the nature, and if you try to understand the laws governing nature, that is going to be basic, very fundamental, basic, very much fundamental. The theories that are there, we explain the natural laws, the nature and its the kind of phenomena. Okay, now, but without any of such practical ends or benefits. I'm going to understand the law, how the nature is being governed, how the particular phenomena is regulated, but I may not have the immediate benefits or the practical ends. I can quote with an example. um, my research references take me to this kind of peculiar, most interesting aspect of circadian rhythm. Okay, I learned that 2017 Nobel Prize was awarded, okay, for this great invention and its molecular and its biological reactions, okay, that are reported as a result of the changes in the biological clock. This the circadian rhythm explains the phenomena regarding the biological clock and its variations. And there are quite amount of molecular reactions that are going to happen in any organism, and these molecular reactions are going to are going to know and decide about uh, the existence of organism, both its the healthier side and even other aspects too. Now, I'm very much curious to know that, okay, whether this COVID-19 and the biological clock of human beings, whether it's related, and because the circadian rhythm, uh, as a basic part of it, addresses about the early risers. If you say early risers, people say that people who rise very much early, okay, they are going to expose more to the cosmic energy, and higher the cosmic energy that you expose to, your immunity power will be boosted. And as a result of this immunity power boosted, and there's a less chance that you are going to be suffered, are going to be infected with COVID-19. And we need to have a lot more research support for this too. But okay, circadian rhythm and the Nobel Prize, that's fine. But okay, whether can circadian rhythm and the COVID-19 and its interrelation can be studied, that is going to be our applied research. Circadian rhythm and its impact, and it's a pure kind of the study can be applied to the practicality of understanding COVID-19 and its immunity aspects. That's the reason why I said, okay, applied research is all about aims at applications of basic research to develop solutions for a problem. Now, I have the basic research, and this says that